Hey everyone, it's Justin here, and I'm super excited to be able to study another Bible story with you all together this morning. And today's Bible story actually comes from the book of Acts, which is one of my favorite books in the Bible. The book of Acts has so many different stories about people who are being bold with their faith and sharing the good news of Jesus Christ with others. And so this morning I want to look at Acts chapter 2, which is pretty near to the start of the book, and it talks about the early church and when the church first started. And it talks about some of the things that the early Christians really focused on and really remained committed to. So I want to read that together for us. And as I read this passage and you're watching this video, I want for you to count how many things that the early Christians were doing as I read. All right? So Acts 2:42 says this: "All the believers devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship and to sharing in meals and to prayer. A deep sense of awe came over all of them, and the apostles performed many miraculous signs and wonders. And all the believers met together in one place, and they shared everything they had. They sold their property and possessions and shared the money with those in need. They worshiped together at the temple each day, met in homes for the Lord's Supper, and shared their meals with great joy and generosity, all while praising God and enjoying the goodwill of all the people. And each day the Lord added to their fellowship those who were being saved." So like I said, there was a lot of different things that the early Christians were doing in that passage. Some of them that stuck out to me were prayer and praising God, but another thing that they were doing was that they were sharing everything they had, and they were always encouraging one another. All those things in the story we just read are things that we can do today too. We can spend time in prayer and listen to teaching and meet with other Christians. But the thing I want to focus on today about that story, the thing that I saw when those Christians met together, was that they were like a team. They loved one another. They encouraged one another. It says in the story we just read that some of them sold their possessions so that they could share with each other and help people out who needed help. I think that's really cool. And so these Christians, they almost acted like a team, right? How many of you watching the videos have ever been part of a team? I know for me, I've been part of sports teams or in a band or group projects for school. And so I'm going to describe two different types of team, and then I'm going to ask you a question, all right? So team number one is like this. All the people on the team, they encourage each other, they love one another, they share what they have. And then over here is team number two. On team number two, people are selfish, they keep to themselves, they don't really care about their teammates. All right, now the question I have for you is, which team would you want to be a part of? Team 1 or Team 2? For me, the answer is pretty obvious. I want to be a part of team number 1. I want to be a part of the team where people love each other and encourage one another and share what they have. And that's a perfect picture of what the early Christians in this story were acting like. They were acting like a really unified team. And so my encouragement for us this morning would be, as Christians, are we acting like that? Are we acting like that when we treat other people? Are we showing them love and kindness and sharing what we have and always providing words of encouragement for one another? And the reason why this is so important is because at the end of the story, it says the Lord added to their number daily those who were being saved. Right? So people back then, they saw the way that Christians treated other people. They saw the way that Christians treated one another. And I think some of those people were so intrigued by the way that they loved one another that they wanted to find out more about Jesus. And it's the same thing for us today. When we show love towards other people, people might want to learn more about Jesus, and we can have that opportunity to share the good news when we're showing love to one another. Before we go today, I do have a memory verse for us, and this verse talks about a lot of the things that we just read that the early Christians were doing in that story in Acts. But this memory verse is found in Hebrews chapter 10, and it's verses 24 and 25. So I'm going to go through the verse with us together, and it's a little long, so stick with me, but after that, we'll learn some hand motions for it. So the verse says this: let us think about each other and help each other to show love. So we can show love to one another, kind of like what we were just talking about. And then it says, and do good deeds. You should not stay away from the church meetings as some are doing. So even though right now we can't meet together at church, we can still go watch church online and watch YouTube videos together. So we can still meet together. And the rest of the verse says this: but you should meet together and encourage each other. Do this even more as you see the day approaching. All right, are you ready to learn it with some hand motions? Let's do it together. It starts off like this: let us think about each other and help others to show love and do good deeds. You should not stay away from the church meetings as some are doing, but you should meet together and encourage each other. Do this even more as you see the day coming. All right, let's try that again one more time. Like I said, it starts off like this: let us think about each other and help each other to show love and do good deeds. You should not stay away from the church meetings as some are doing, but you should meet together and encourage one another. Do this even more as you see the day coming. All right, so you can work on that verse this week, and I look forward to seeing you guys again very soon, all right?